Thank you. And forgive me for going some protocols. But I would like to say thank you very much to the EDM department for personally inviting me to come and make this presentation today. I'm very honoured to be here and to be able to share my experience of research in Nigeria with you. I'm going to talk about two of the biggest drivers of change in the built environment that are happening to us whether we want them or not. And one of those is urbanisation. 50% of the world lives in cities, and that's growing, and it will continue to grow. And the other one is climate change. In my field of flooding, those are the two biggest drivers. And urbanisation is just as big, if not more important, as a driver of change than climate change. So I'm going to talk to you today about the project that I was involved in, the Urbanisation Research Nigeria project. And then I will tell you a bit more in detail about the climate resilience part of that project. I'll try and tell you how we did theoretically grounded, empirical, but policy relevant research over 24 projects. And then I will summarise our recommendations. Okay, so the URN programme was a 5-year programme of research funded by the UK Department for International Development. It was part of a larger programme of evaluation, the UIREM project, which looked at an evaluation of the NIAF initiative, a DFID-sponsored initiative to try and enhance the implementation of infrastructure projects within Nigeria. And that was a very large investment, and therefore DFID wished to evaluate the programme, and in order to do that, they needed to know how to measure success. And that was something that they found they couldn't easily do. And that was really the motivation for having the research programme. I've said that we wanted to produce academic research, and our leader in the project was very focused on this academic aspect, working with local researchers to produce academic research that was theoretically grounded, bringing concepts that were used around the world, seeing how we could apply them or not in Nigeria. Theoretically grounded with international literature, empirically grounded by doing research work in Nigeria and actually collecting data, demonstrating how data could be collected that would help NIAF to measure success, and policy relevant, so coming out at the end with some actual recommendations that maybe possibly could be implemented. We wanted to contribute to the evidence base for urbanisation research in Nigeria and to help to build the capacity of research organisations in Nigeria by involving local researchers so that we could learn from them and they could learn from us. And I hope that we succeeded in some of this. It was a very challenging set of objectives that we had, and then we set ourselves objectives for all the projects underneath this global objective for the programme. So we had 4 themes of urbanisation themes. And you can see them up there: urban change processes, urban economic development, well-being of urban citizens, and the theme that I led, which is urban land planning and governance and management. And that was looking at the process of urban development, and from many different angles. I don't know why it's going backwards when I want it to go forwards. Within those 4 themes, as I said, we had 24 projects. Within Theme D, some of the projects which I was involved in personally: the Urban Land Planning and Governance Project, the Planning, Management and Governance of Informal Systems, the Climate Resilience Project, and Delivering Municipal Infrastructure Project. I can't talk about all of those projects, or I would be here for a whole day, or in fact perhaps for a week. So I'm just going to talk about one. I'm going to talk about the Climate Resilience Project. The adaptation of urban infrastructure to enhance climate resilience in Nigeria. So, we know that Nigerian cities are subject to multiple threats. Flooding is one, urban heat, the urban heat highland effect, windstorm, drought and water shortage. We know this because we've looked at the evidence. I'm not a climate scientist, so I was looking at the evidence from the climate scientists and looking at the very good reports done by the Nigerian government about what's going to happen and what the adaptation policy should be for Nigeria as a whole. So those were the climate threats that we looked at. But what we found was that there was quite a lot of good evidence of what's happening in Nigeria, but there was a lack of evidence, particularly in the urban space, around the vulnerability and resilience of cities to climate change. There was a lack of evidence of the capacity and coping strategies. So it was seen as something that couldn't be coped with, something that was coming and we needed to do something about, but locally, what could be done? So, taking some ideas from the literature that have been written about Nigeria and how it should adapt, there was quite a lot of literature about sustainable drainage, sustainable urban planning,